The layout is controlled by DCC. That's obviously a standard mainstream system. But the signalling is a totally independent system based on an Arduino microprocessor. It has code written by myself to replicate what you'd see in real life in the signalling system that UK's railways use today. I'm Simon Paley. I am from Reading in Berkshire. The layout's name is Norwood Road. It is based on the West Croydon area in South London during the last 10 years roughly. The layout was originally half-built by a different person who had the original idea of the tram line. And at the time of buying the layout, I was down in Croydon looking at trams. I thought, well, it's a bit different. You don't see many modern image tram layouts, and it's an extra incentive to look at. The season layout is based on the past 10 years. It varies from slam door stock right up to modern Zyro units. Unfortunately, I haven't got any electro stars, so I use heritage units, as I call them, from Southern. So 4 seps, 4 veps, and a little bit of local haul as well. Visually, the first thing is the tram line. So not many layouts have modern tram lines. The rest is underneath the layout in terms of electronics. So I have a full signalling system designed by a competent signalling designer and installed using microprocessors. The signal with the theatre indicator is from Absolute Aspects, and the rest of them are CR signals. Because you can't get a lot of these parts mainstream, there's obviously not necessarily a demand from mainstream manufacturers to manufacture it. I've gone down the route of 3D printing them using my own designs from actual drawings from Network Rail. I'm basically a self-taught CAD person. I use a program called Google SketchUp, or Trimble SketchUp it is now. I use drawings from my workplace, Network Rail. So I've got fully scaled drawings. I scale them down. I draw them as scaled in the CAD software. Then I upload them to a common marketplace called Shapeways. Then I order those. They go through a process of selective laser sintering, as it's called, 3D printing more commonly. And then that gets sent to me from the Netherlands. All I have to do is paint it up, stick it on the layout. At the end of the layout, there's a tram stop. The shelter there is 3D printed in a nylon material, as are the 2 Oyster card readers. Inside the station, there is some 3D printed ticket barriers, non-working. That's far too complex. Yes, after some demand, I have a shop on Shapeways called SJP Models. If you just go onto Shapeways and type that in, you'll find it. And what will happen is that you can order the parts and they get sent directly to you.
Well, that's our layout of the month, but now it's time to get all techie and look at a custom DCC system built around a small but affordable computer. Here's John Gay to tell us all about it.
Well, to basically put it in its simplest form, it's a little basically a computer system onto an interface. So I use a Raspberry Pi that's connected into JMRI software. That then runs through a Sprog Nano, which then goes onto a Merg 5 amp booster. And then I use the wireless system of the Raspberry Pi to feed off iPod Touches, which use an app that's freely available, and that's Y-Throttle. A Raspberry Pi is a credit card sized computer that you can buy from somewhere like RS Products, RS Components, and they're roughly about £30 to £40. The software, again, JMRI, is available on the website. It's a free download. And again, the same with the software that's on the iPod Touches. JMRI software, so basically you have your roster, which basically has all your locos programmed in, keeps things all like your functions labelled. So instead of having F1, F2, F3 on your controller, you actually have a label that says whistle, guard's whistle, drain cocks, anything you basically have on the functions, so you can tailor it to suit each individual loco. Basically tailors all the way up to I think it's about 30 or 40 different functions, but with the ones you don't use, you basically just lock them off basically. It's Android systems, so you get the JMRI engine driver throttle on the Android software, and the Apple one is the Y-Throttle. So you can use your phone as well, so yeah, Android phone or the iPhones, that sort of thing. The main reason for using iPods is it just keeps it simple, just keeps it self-contained, not answering phone calls halfway through running my trains. The app itself is a free download just for the basic one, or I believe it's $7.99 just for the Pro version, which gives you the ability to run multiple trains in one go. The Mimic is basically done via a web server that's set up with the JMRI software. So basically you go into Panel Pro on the JMRI software and set up your panel from there. And by activating the web server, it broadcasts it out as a screen to be used on the touch screen. You can do all sorts, anything up to sort of your signalling and your points like we do here with Halland. And you can also do things like track occupancy and train detection and all that sort of stuff. We haven't gone quite that far with Halland, but my other layout is coming along that way. I can see there a lot of development into the system, a lot of time and effort from the software side of things, especially with JMRI and Y-Throttle. Once you sort of get to that sort of stage, I mean, it sounds complicated, but the truth is it's very simple to get hold of, it's very simple to use. You know, I'm part of the Wickham District Model Railway Club, and we have several members that wouldn't dare even dream of picking up an iPod. Now they just pick it up and operate their trains.